First of all, though, just to pick up, Philip, on what you were saying, Mel Stride, we saw in the reaction there, just to remind people, he is the chair of the Treasury Select Committee, very important finance body, basically saying that there should have been an independent look at this from the OBR, the Office for Budget Responsibility, indicating that, they were ready to come forward and say whether this was affordable or not. Kwasi Kwarteng saying that will happen, but later in the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy thing to attack the government for, but, there is going to be a forecast in the not-too-distant future. It's not as if anything's being hidden, so I don't really think that's a big issue. I think.
But you were observing he's a Rishi Sunak supporter, which may explain why.
Mel was chairman of Rishi's campaign. But look, I mean, I supported Rishi Sunak in the leadership election, but I welcome many of the measures that have been set out by the government. I think there are some notes of... I mean, look, we are overtaxed in this country. We've all been complaining. Everyone's been complaining for months that we've got the highest burden of taxation in 70 years. The Labour Party have been complaining that we've got the highest burden of taxation in 70 years. So you can't complain about a high burden of taxation and then complain when you cut taxes.
But the problem, Esther, is, of course, the discussion, the debate, how to pay for it, and the whole issue of the borrowing, which Rachel Reeves really had a go at the government about.
But the Conservative government is reorientating itself full stop.
For a new era.
Yes, and I would say a post-lockdown era as well. We have to regrow the country. Now, of course, the Chancellor came to the floor pretty much on the energy issue, how we're going to support people, what we're going to do, where we're going to provide the support that we need to provide, not just for individuals, but for businesses, which keep the country afloat. But from then, it is obviously grown and developed. As you said, it's not a mini budget, this. It is a maximum statement here. So he's got to find out, where is the money coming from? How do we do this? But fundamentally, how do we streamline the country? How do we grow the country? How do we actually inject life back into what had seemed like a stagnating country and world?
Sclerotic was the phrase used. And some may say, well, that's the Tories' own fault. They've had 12 years to fix it and they haven't.
It is the lockdown that has fundamentally stopped the country, stopped the world for 2 years. The money that was deployed to keep the country afloat has been significant, and this has to now get the country going.
I should say, Mark, I think you're absolutely right to highlight the issue that the government's got, which is about the borrowing. I mean, Kwasi Kwarteng said you can't tax your way to prosperity, which is true. But, of course, other people might say you can't borrow your way out of debt.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the easy bit.
Is there a problem on that for you going ahead to the general election in 2 years' time, on the windfall tax in particular, that Kwasi Kwarteng has left Labour an open door there to attack them time and time again on the windfall tax? It's one law for the rich, one law for the poor.
And to be fair, some of us called for a windfall tax. I would be one of them. So I said, where does, and you're quite right, where does the burden fall? How do you support people as best as you can? They've decided not to do that. They've made a very clear ideological sort of division here between the two parties. This is what they're going for, absolutely turbocharging growth.